My beloved child, let your heart be still beneath the shadow of my wings, for I know you are walking in the midst of a noisy age, where many people exalt outward appearance and no longer have the patience to recognize what is true. There are rounds of applause that resound loudly, yet they are given to empty shadows. There are dazzling lights shining upon what quickly fades, while holy, quiet, and precious things are forgotten in the eyes of men. But my child, you were not born to live by the praise of the crowd, nor were you called to measure your worth by fleeting approval. I have called you to a deeper path, where the reward does not always come through outward cheers, but through steadfast peace within your heart, through my gaze resting upon you, through the quiet testimony that you still belong to me in the midst of a generation so easily changed. Do not be afraid when there are times you must go against the current. The chosen one does not always stand where the crowd is largest, nor is he always immediately understood by those who see only with the eyes of the flesh. When Noah built the ark on dry land, the world may have seen him as a strange man, but that quiet obedience became the door of salvation for his family. When Joseph kept his heart pure in a foreign land, no one saw the battle within him between temptation and the fear of me. But I saw it, and I turned the prison into the stairway that led to the palace. Therefore, each time you choose what is right instead of what is easy, each time you turn your back on compromise even when no one knows, each time you keep your mouth from poisonous words and your heart from bitterness, you are not failing in silence. You are winning battles that heaven recognizes. Remember this, my child, faithfulness that seems small in the eyes of the world can be a very great fragrance before my throne. A cup of cold water given in my name, a prayer in the night that no one hears, a tear that falls because you long to live pleasing to me. All of these do not fall into emptiness. My word is spoken, your Father, who sees in secret, will reward you. Therefore, do not grow discouraged when no one sees how hard you are trying. Do not be saddened when your holy sacrifices are not named. Do not envy those who are praised for what is shallow. For what is born of the flesh will wither like grass, but what is sown in the Spirit will bear fruit in its season. I do not forget you. I do not miss a single step. I do not confuse glamour with holiness. Behold, my child, there is a drowsiness creeping across the souls of many people, not loud like a storm, not violent like war, but soft like the morning mist that gradually causes the eyes to close. It makes people grow accustomed to half-truths and half-lies, accustomed to praying less, accustomed to compromising a little more, accustomed to loving the world while still thinking they are at peace. That is why I call you to stay awake. Not with fear, but with burning love. Keep oil in your lamp, like the 5 wise virgins in the old parable. For when the bridegroom comes, a beautiful lamp without oil will not be able to light the way. You need more than words about faith. You need true life in faith. You need more than memories of seasons when I once touched you. You need to walk with me today, in today's breath, in today's obedience. Do not live by yesterday's fire. My beloved, yesterday's grace is a testimony, but it is not bread sufficient for today's journey. The children of Israel in the wilderness were given manna each morning, and whoever tried to keep it for the next day found that it spoiled. Except for the portion I taught them to prepare for the Sabbath. Through this, I want you to understand that fellowship with me cannot be only an old memory stored in the heart like a treasure covered with dust. Come to me every day. Open my word not merely to find answers, but to meet me himself. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. When you allow my word to shine upon each small step, you will not be led into the abyss by false lights. When you allow the Holy Spirit to be the compass within your heart, you will discern what is a call from heaven and what is merely the echo of ambition, fear, or enchantment. I know there are times you grow weary from having to keep yourself in the midst of a world that constantly invites you to lower the standard of holiness. There are times you look around and wonder why people can so easily trade away the truth and still be praised, while your effort to live uprightly seems lonely. But my child, being alone with me does not mean being abandoned. Sometimes it is the place where I refine your hearing. Daniel did not stop praying, even when the king's decree forbade it. He did not open his window toward Jerusalem to display his devotion, but because his soul had grown accustomed to turning toward me. The lion's den could not devour the one who belonged to me, because before the lions opened their mouths, I had already sent an angel. So if you are being tested because of your faithfulness, know that I am not merely standing outside and watching. I am in the trial with you, shutting the mouths of the things that want to destroy you and bearing witness that obedience is never in vain. Beware of counterfeits that have been polished very cleverly. My child, not everything that glitters is glory. Not every sweet word is truth. Not every path that many people enter leads to life. There are voices that know how to use beautiful language yet pull the soul far away from me. There are opportunities that look like blessings, but hide within them the seeds of chains. There are forms of recognition that make you happy for a moment, but cause you to lose purity in the long run. Therefore, bring everything before me. Ask me before you run. Wait for me before you decide. Let the peace of Christ rule in your heart. For the peace I give is not like the peace the world gives. It does not need noise to prove itself, nor does it need the crowd's approval in order to stand firm. My beloved child, I do not want you to become harsh or suspicious of everything. I want you to become pure and discerning. Watchfulness is not living closed off in fear, but keeping your heart open to me and closed to what defiles the soul. Practice hearing me in stillness. Guard the hours of prayer as one guards the fire in the temple. Forgive more quickly. Repent more deeply. Love more truly. And refuse compromises even when they are wrapped in reasonable appearances. When you walk in the true source, the true voice, and the true light, darkness, no matter how skillfully disguised, cannot deceive you forever. Test the spirits, whether they are of God, for I do not want you to be naive before the schemes of falsehood, but neither do I want you to lose the gentleness of a child kept by the Father. So today, lift up your eyes. My child, do not chase after a shadow simply because the crowd is applauding. Do not abandon the hidden flame simply because no one has praised your faithfulness. Do not allow your soul to fall asleep in half-hearted comfort. I am calling you back to the inner altar, where first love is rekindled, where my word becomes breath, where the Holy Spirit leads you like the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night. You do not need to become like the world in order to be accepted, for you were loved by me before the world ever knew your name. Walk in truth. Keep your heart in the light, and remain faithful in the secret place. At the appointed time, what I have nurtured in silence will bloom before you, and you will understand that not one moment of obedience has been forgotten. Not one holy choice has been taken lightly, and not one flame you kept for me has burned in vain through the long night. My beloved child, there are signs in your life that are not coincidences, falling like an out-of-season leaf, nor are they meaningless fragments of the days. There are unexpected encounters, words spoken unintentionally that touch the very wound, dreams that keep returning in the night, doors you thought would open yet closed, and paths you thought had been shut that suddenly opened slightly in grace. All of these things, when placed beneath my light, become the whispers of heaven to your soul. Do not be too quick to call everything random, for the one who lives by faith knows that even the hairs on his head have been numbered by the Father in heaven. I do not let you drift through life like one forgotten, Before you knew how to ask, I had already seen you. Before you understood your own pain, I had prepared gentle markers to draw you out of the place where you thought you had to suffer alone. As it is written, I have called you by your name, you are mine. Therefore, when your soul begins to tremble before things that seem small, know that this is not weakness, but evidence that you can still hear my voice amid the many noises of the world. What the enemy fears most, my child, is not your crying out in panic, nor the days when you try to struggle in your own strength until you are exhausted. It is not afraid of a busy soul that has forgotten to pray, nor of a person who speaks much about faith but no longer stands firm in my presence. What terrifies darkness is when you remember who you are in me, when you kneel down not because you have been defeated, but because you know the throne of grace is where you receive strength again. When your knees touch the ground and your soul rises toward heaven, when your heart stops beating to the rhythm of anxiety, competition, and shame, and begins to beat again with the rhythm of heaven. You are not a forgotten child, not someone who survived by luck, not an unnamed soul in a sea of people. You are the one I have loved with an everlasting love, the one who was fearfully and wonderfully made, the soil in which I still desire to sow holy seeds, the lamp I have never intended to extinguish. Remember the story of Gideon, my child, when the people were living in fear, when he was threshing wheat in a hidden place to avoid the enemy. The eyes of men may have seen only a timid man, someone in hiding, but my angel did not call him according to his present fear. He called him according to the identity heaven had seen. The Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor. Do you see? I do not define you by your weakest moment. I do not call you by the name that failure placed upon you, nor do I look at you through the condemnation of others. While you are still trembling, I still see the courage sleeping within you. While you are still hiding, I already know the day you will rise. When you think you are the smallest in your house, the weakest in your generation, I can still place within you a mission beyond imagination. Therefore, do not let your present circumstances steal your eternal identity. Do not let a dark season cause you to forget that the light I have placed within you does not belong to darkness. Now you are living in a time when indifference is not possible. I do not say this to frighten you, but to awaken holiness within you. There are seasons of grace that come like gentle rain, inviting you to return quietly, but there are also seasons when the warning comes like the sound of a trumpet on the city wall, reminding you that you cannot keep sleeping. You cannot forever stand between two paths, with one foot wanting to step into the light and the other still lingering in the familiar darkness. You cannot ask me to heal you while still embracing the very thing that makes your soul bleed. You cannot thirst for peace while nurturing within your heart the voices that pull you away from truth. My word says, you cannot serve two masters, not because I am stern without love, but because I know that a divided heart will always suffer, and a soul living in the gray will gradually forget the pure whiteness of true life. Perhaps you once thought that stepping into the light meant you had to be strong enough, pure enough, and steady enough before coming near me. No, my beloved, the light is not reserved only for those who have never stumbled. The light is where the one who has stumbled finds the way home again. I do not tell you to cleanse yourself first and then come. I invite you to come so that I may cleanse you, like the prodigal son returning in torn garments and hunger. He had not even finished reciting his confession before his father ran to embrace him. Look at that story and understand my heart. I do not stand with folded arms at the end of the road to interrogate you about why you wandered for so long. I run toward you with mercy. But you must turn back. You cannot be embraced in the Father's house if you insist on remaining in a foreign place. You cannot put on the new robe if you keep clinging tightly to the old garment of sin, shame, and despair. The closed doors in your life are sometimes not punishment, but fences of grace. There are things you regret not attaining, but I saw that they would wear down your soul. There are people you wanted to keep, but I knew they could only walk with you for a stretch of the road before pulling you away from the holy call. There were plans you prayed for earnestly, but I delayed them because I was preparing something deeper, purer, and more enduring for you. My word has said, all things work together for good to those who love God. Let that sentence soak into the place where your heart still doubts. Not everything is pleasant, but in my hand, everything can be redeemed. Even tears can become streams that water the garden of your soul, if you surrender them to me. Therefore, when you see repeated signals, reminders echoing from many sides, holy unrest that makes you unable to continue living as before, do not cover your ears. I am not calling you in order to drive you into fear. I am calling you to bring you out of slumber. Place the question before me again. What in you needs to be returned to the light? What cord is binding your feet? What voice have you listened to for so long that you mistook it for truth? What habit has taken root like weeds in the garden of your heart? Then let me pull them up with you. Little by little, I do not demand that you be transformed in a single breath, but I want you to be honest in each step. Honesty before me is the first door of freedom. My beloved, do not fear your true identity. Some people fear the light because they think the light only exposes faults. But my light does more than that. It shows the way, gives warmth, heals, and restores original beauty. When you step into the light, false things will fall away. The masks you have worn in order to be accepted will no longer be necessary. The curses you once believed will lose their power. The labels of the past will no longer be allowed to name you. You will learn again how to stand before me as a child, not as a beggar of love, not as a prisoner awaiting sentence, but as one who belongs in the Father's house. The enemy wants you to forget this, because a child who knows he is loved is not easily bribed by the cheap things of darkness. Therefore, today I gently yet solemnly remind you, choose the light. Not tomorrow, not when everything becomes more convenient, not when you understand everything. Choose it in this very moment through a sincere prayer, through a small yet holy decision, through turning your back on what you know is darkening your soul. I will not abandon you on that journey home. I will go before you like the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night. I will open a way where you thought there was no way. I will teach you to distinguish my voice from the voice of fear, guidance from temptation, true peace from counterfeit numbness. And as you take each step toward me, you will realize that from beginning to end, you are never alone. I was there in the signs you did not understand, in the times you were protected without knowing it, in the doors that closed at the right moment, and in the quiet call leading you back to who you are as I created you to be, pure, courageous, awake, and wholly belonging to me, my beloved child. Understand that every morning when you wake and choose to set your heart in my word, you are not merely beginning a new day, but entering a holy reclaiming of sacred ground within your soul. The things that seem small, a quiet prayer, a decision not to return to an old habit, a moment when you remain silent instead of growing angry, a time when you forgive instead of holding resentment, are all footprints of victory. You often think victory must be something great, radiant, seen and praised by others. But I tell you that many of the noblest victories happen in the secret place, where no one witnesses them except me. It is there, in the quiet room of your heart, that my reign is rebuilt, one stone at a time, one decision at a time, one heartbeat of obedience at a time. Do not view this journey as a struggle against other people, For I have not called you to use your pain as a weapon against your brothers and sisters. The true battle does not lie in the face of the one who wounded you, nor in the circumstances that exhaust you, but in a deeper place, the place where your heart must choose who will rule over it. Fear wants to sit on the throne. The past wants to pull you back. Old desires want to rebuild their altars. But I have said, "You shall have no other gods before me." And that word does not speak only of carved images made of stone or wood, but also of everything that wants to replace me in your heart. Therefore, when you choose me instead of fear, holiness instead of compromise, peace instead of chaos, you are allowing my light to reclaim the places that darkness once occupied. There are times when you ask through tears, "Father, how can I continue when my heart is so weary? When pressure surrounds me, when the old things keep calling my name in a familiar voice, my child." I do not rebuke you for that question. I know human strength is fragile, like grass in the field, green in the morning, yet withered by evening beneath the sun. But do not mistakenly think that standing firm means you must carry everything by yourself. Standing firm is not gritting your teeth and enduring in loneliness. It is knowing how to lean upon the one who never moves. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. That word was not written for those who have never trembled, but given to souls that have passed through the valley and learned that the true refuge is not favorable circumstances, but me himself. Therefore, my child, what you gaze upon will gradually shape you. If you look only at the waves, your heart will become like the sea in a storm. If you keep looking at betrayal, that wound will teach you how to doubt. If you look at lack, your soul will learn the language of fear. But when your eyes are turned toward me, the fountain of life within you will be renewed like the dawn each day. I spoke through the prophet Isaiah, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Do you see? That renewed strength does not come from your being able to control everything, but from your knowing how to wait upon me. The eagle does not fight the wind in panic. It spreads its wings upon the current and lets the lifting power carry it higher. You also, let my spirit lift you above what is trying to drag you down. I want you to remember Daniel, who lived in a foreign kingdom where power, pressure, and temptation surrounded him like fortified walls. When the decree forbidding prayer was issued, Daniel did not make a loud display to prove his heart, nor did he respond with outrage. He simply returned to his room, opened his windows toward Jerusalem, knelt down, and prayed as he had always done. My beloved child, Daniel's strength did not lie in a resounding voice before the crowd, but in quiet faithfulness that was not controlled by circumstances. He did not overcome the lion's den when the mouth of the den was sealed. He had already overcome in the days before, when each day he chose to remain in my presence. Likewise, you do not wait until a great trial comes to become victorious. You are trained in the small choices of today, in the moments when you still pray, though your heart feels dry, still believe, though your eyes do not yet see, and still keep yourself, though no one knows. You do not need to understand all my ways fully in order to keep walking. Faith is not a map opened with every detail revealed, but your small hand placed in mine when you cannot yet see the whole path. If everything were clear before your eyes, you would easily confuse certainty with trust. But because I love you so deeply, many times I light only enough for the next step, so that you may learn to hear my voice, learn to depend on me, and learn that your life does not rest in your ability to predict tomorrow, but in the one who holds tomorrow. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. That lamp does not illuminate the whole field at once, but shines exactly where your foot needs to be placed. Therefore, do not despise one small step of obedience, for many small steps in faith will lead you to the place where the promise is revealed. When you are weak, do not be quick to think that I am disappointed in you. I am not looking for false strength, a form that never grows tired, a smile that hides every crack. I am a father, not a cold judge standing at a distance to measure you by outward perfection. I know you need to be upheld. I know there are days when you have only enough strength left to say, "Father, please help me." And that simple prayer can open the door for my power to flow. I have said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." Listen carefully. I did not say my power is revealed when you are never weak, but that precisely in the place where you know you are not enough, I become enough for you. Weakness surrendered into my hands is not failure. It is an empty vessel for me to fill with grace. Therefore, do not try to be strong in the way the world teaches you. The world tells you to protect yourself with hardness, to hide your tears, to need no one, to prove that you cannot be defeated. But I teach you another way. Be tender in my hands. Be humble beneath the shadow of my wings. Let your heart cling to me as the branch remains attached to the vine. My son has said, "Apart from me, you can do nothing." That word is not meant to make you feel small in despair, but to free you from the burden of having to do everything by yourself. The branch does not need to strain to create life. It only needs to remain in the vine, and the sap of life will flow through it. You also abide in me, and the things I desire to bring forth in you will grow in their proper season. Perhaps the enemy will whisper that you are too late, too weak, that you have failed too many times and are no longer worthy to continue. But I say to you that such a voice does not come from me. I do not use condemnation to lead you. I use truth and love to draw you back. Each time you rise after stumbling, heaven does not despise you, but rejoices because you still turn toward the light. Remember Peter, who once denied his master in the night, as though everything had ended, but the risen one sought him out by the sea, not to crush him with his old sin, but to restore to him love and mission. My beloved child, your past has no right to judge your future when I have called you by grace. What I restore, no darkness is allowed to declare lost. So, today, continue to abide in my word. Let that word wash your thoughts, reshape the old pathways in your heart, rebuild the walls that have fallen, and kindle within you an enduring flame. I do not need you to blaze up for a moment and then burn out in weariness. I want you to become a faithful lamp, steadily shining in my house. Through the long night, through the cold wind, even when no one applauds, the one who endures to the end will see the fruit of faithfulness. The one who patiently sows in tears will reap with joy. The one who continues to hold on to me in the dark season will realize that I have not let go of their hand for even a single second. My child, walk through this day with peace in your heart. Your spiritual battle is not a declaration that you are alone on the battlefield, but a reminder that you belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. I go before you. I am with you, and I uphold you from behind. When you are tired, lean on me. When you do not understand, trust me. When you are weak, cling more tightly to me. And when all you have left is one very small prayer, whisper my name, for I hear, I will do the part you cannot do. Keep what you cannot keep. Open a way where you see no way, and complete the good work I began in you. You only need to abide, faithful day by day. For each day you remain in me is a day when the light advances one more step, and the darkness must retreat.